Alright, welcome to Just Magic the Gathering. I was looking to knock out some of my dailies. They are starting to stack up. I should have the midweek, still only 3 hours left. But I only need one more win on this, and needs relative. It'll get me my cosmetic. At that point, that's the only thing I'm going for. And if I can get a quick win, I might just kind of throw a couple matches and move on to maybe a jump in. I was wondering what I should be doing to... There's a hello. Doing to... I guess push. Get a surveil 1. I'm going to go for the 3-1. In a way, I'd rather have, if I'm going to be discarding a card, the invincibility out of it, or I don't know. Drawing a card's good. Let's try and figure out what I would actually be trying to get rid of here. So... I probably could have done my Flamecaster. Go for... You may pay 2. I don't really have anything that's big. So there's nothing that'll start doing the damage for my 4. Good game. I recognize him. All right. Let's see what he does here. I'm assuming he's going to block the 2-4. At which point I'll give him Death Touch, let him die, and get a token back out of the deal. And then go for a Goblin if I can, which is a little unfortunate. But at least I have the mana I can discard for the invincibility if I want. Exile a card from your graveyard. Create a 2/2 green elf token. Activate only as a sorcery. So without actually getting into some control... I'm assuming he was actually looking for that as a sacrifice surveil. Yeah. I was wondering about trying to get the damage through. He's going to take the Eclipse, Bogart, and take the 3 damage. I'm surprised on that. Let's see what he has up his sleeve. I think my kitty wants out. Just a second. You may blight 1. Get 2 more goblins out of the deal. And I'm going to keep my land. Sorry about that. A flash with reach. And a 1/3. Whenever you attack, target how attacking goblin gets. So I could goat nap. Let's see what he does. I'm assuming he's looking to basically block the tokens. And there's nothing I can do to remove the 1/1. End turn. May blight 2. So, good game. Got my last win. My first win for the day. And I'm happy for it. I can claim... Looks like the full art out of Ether Drift. The Lumbering World Wagon. I don't recognize it. One of the things I'm not abashed about, or throw a couple matches here, see if other people can get their free wins out of the deal. And then move on to something else. I like his little kitty. And they're like, nah. If people at this point are still playing it, it's either because their decks are good or they're trying to knock out their achievement. So I have no objections with passing on a couple matches here. I was actually questioning there for a half second, was this like a magic employee? Every once in a while you run into one. At which point I probably shouldn't be throwing matches. I don't know. Either way. Moving on. Finished my midweek. And one of the things I was actually looking at is like black-white spells. I could do, as opposed to going to my... I don't know. I do, at a certain point, need to run my rankings. And this deck will get me there. I was very much questioning putting 1,000 coins into a jump in and seeing if I can get some new cards or just seeing what's available there. It's definitely not as like high stakes, if you will, as trying to grind the ranking. But if I can get some black-white spells out of this and Kid Jack the Feverant. Boom, boom, boom. Not terribly happy with it, but I can play most of my hand. Ooze. That doesn't bode well. I'm assuming he's playing a news deck. The Fuel Tank Feaster. And if I don't fell that now, that's going to be unbelievably problematic. The Fuel Tank Feaster's a nice card, and especially if you can get a second one down. He just double checked my colors. He's playing red-green. Let's see what he has for control. At a certain point, I would like to keep a clip on this. I don't really have a lot to go on. I need mana is what I need. So, I mean, thinking. Direct damage? He's playing tricolor. Blue, green, red. The Spirited Synchrilarium. He gets mana card out of the deal and the replacement. At a certain point, I'm glad for... So we're wondering, playing the Revenant. With the... Search your library for basic planes. Play the Spirited Simulacrum. Without access into mana, I don't have a lot of options here. Just keep pushing. What I really need to do is get one more mana up for my Enduring Tenacity, or just get into one of my bonds. Deals X damage up to X creatures. Nice. I'm gonna pay the 2 life and go for my Enduring Tenacity. I'm assuming that he has more control in that he's playing red. The World Weave, which means he gets land when he plays his next creature, which is an Enduring Innocence. And this is where... Oh, that's not really fair. Because that's game right there. At 6, it's just going to deal double back to him, and it's actually triple back. So, moving on. And I'm glad to see that's basically... I was a little worried about making it through the end of my pass. There's only like 4 days left in the pass, and I'm down to like the final 4 levels. I did want to make those final 5 packs, though. They did an odd distribution on the packs, or the pass. They reworked the pass on this time around. But that should actually be my next ring and a half. That's 9 packs. But yeah. One of the things on the note of events, if I go down to the jump ins, which I had to just scroll to right past, for 1,000 coins, you can pick cards. Like, I can look at getting red artifacts. Or playing the Void. Since this has a check mark, I've actually picked this Void pack before. Or I can look to get the new ones from the Kithkin. They actually have a Kithkin set. If I wanted to maybe look at building a Kithkin deck, this is a good starter pack for it. I think I'm going to go artifacts. And I can combine that with fueled up, red blue. I could do encounters, or the full Mardu set. In a way, I'm thinking of picking into Mardu because that's going to help fill my vault. Any of those duplicates, and I would have actually expected to pick up a little bit more. This is only a 40 card deck, and in a way, like, you play what you have. But most of these cards, I'm going to be kind of curious on, because some of these I definitely don't know. And, I mean, that's a mythic. Or not a mythic, a rare. I got a Mardu Siegebreaker out of it. And that is... I have that set full, so that'll actually be paid back in gems, and I didn't notice. I'll be curious to see what that pay looks like in replay. But, yeah. And then you just need one win, and the one win gets you... I don't even think it's one card. I think it is one cosmetic. It's probably one card. I think it's actually one uncommon card? I don't know. This looks quite promising. And the thing about the jump-ins is that the person I'm going against doesn't have a really stellar deck either. They're basically probably about where I'm at with what's available to them. And it's much more of like a balanced... But with that being said, sometimes you pull into a jump-in where it's like, I cannot seemingly get a win out of this deal. Because it just doesn't seem to want to work my favor. Put it into your hand. I'm going to go with the Menace. It basically means he has to pull another creature out, otherwise he can't defend it. And it has... whenever you attack, create a 1/1 red that's tapped and attacking. For 4, that's not that great. It has Warpin and Haste. So I kind of like the look of that at 4. Debris Field Crusher. Deals 3 damage to any target. So... I don't know why it's actually saying I can do... Oh, because I can warp it in. And create a food token. At a certain point that was... I was about to say, because he can overpower my 3, but since he has Menace, he can't. And here on 4, I should be able to do the war effort to bring him as like a surprise. A 2/1 flyer. Attacking tokens have Death Touch. If I do the haste... No attacks. He has the 4 mana. He's not looking to push, but when I push here, he'll probably actually look to double block my Bone Carrion. I'll be kind of curious what he does. At this point, it's anybody's game. The the beginning of your combat, you may forage, which means you can sacrifice that. Whenever you forage, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So, target creature you control gets +4/+0 until end of turn. That's pretty nice. I was thinking if I do the warp in haste, let's see what he does. The 3/4. Double blocking. Which in a way doesn't come as a huge surprise for me. And then I can do... I should have almost done the +1/+1. If I do... And then I can do the monument for my land, which I should be able to play this round. And I missed actually how he got the 2/2 out of that. The Grave Pack Motorist, when it dies, created 2/2 robot. You may forage. If you do, draw a card. That's a 4/5. That is pretty nice. I don't have enough to trigger it, that's for sure. It has nothing to forage. What is forage? Exile 3 cards from your graveyard or sacrifice a food token. Interesting. That will allow my other one to get flying. Haste and Warp as a 3/6. I probably should have played my Starry Eye Skyrider, because then I would have been able to attack and get over his flyers. At this point, it might be his game. I don't have a lot in here that I know of for control. And at a certain point, if this doesn't turn in my favor, I'm also happy to just be like, I'm good to bail. Because here he's going to be able to forage, exile 3 more, and get a food token out of it. So, be a 6/7. And even though I am playing black, no blocks. As the 2/4, I'm in a way surprised he tapped out. That is nice for just control. Is he able to protect it? If I warp him in with haste and then just push. It's going to be coming in pretty hot and heavy. I only have one that's mobilizing, but whenever I attack, Assuming he's looking to double up on that one. And since I can't kill the one, I'll at least take the one that I can kill. And yeah, basically just trying to keep a move on it. He has to keep playing creatures. A squirrel. When it enters, put a +1/+1 on each other squirrel you control. So he now has a 3/5. Put, when this creature enters, you may put 2. You got it with Offspring. Target creature gets -2, -2. That creature gets -10 if a non-land permanent left the battlefield. So the Mardu will get me another land. I don't have a lot of options here for what to do other than just keep working the mechanic. Get a +4/+4. And the Insatiable Skittermaw? I don't even recognize that. But yeah, it's pretty much his game. I should have actually blocked the 2/4. That was, in a way, silly on my behalf. Yeah, come back to not a lot of options here. Probably should just let him attack and be done with it. But yeah, definitely drew that out a little longer than I probably should have. And yeah, so you get at least an uncommon for 1 win. And at a certain point, even if you resign, you still get to keep all the cards. So jump-ins are, in a good way, I feel a good way to build out your deck and missing cards. But yeah, with that, I definitely played a little longer than I was expecting and look forward to some Magic in the future.